Hello, morning folks, this is Steve. It is now 8:34 AM in the UK, and I wanted to put a video up today, so I thought I'd better do it now or it's not going to happen. I came back from down south on a Friday, and unfortunately I bought a cold. It's hit me in the chest again, but I don't think it's a bad one. I'm still functioning. But excuse me if I'm coughing and hacking a lot. Got a few requests. What happened was I posted a video up, and this guy came back to me, and he liked when I showed me original stuff from my bedroom, and my wish is your command. If you want to see anything, don't hesitate to ask me, and if I can show you it, providing it's not rude, I will be happy to show you it. But this guy, he wanted to see some of my old stuff. My wish is your command, brother. It was also watching Rene's recent video. Is his Spanish video. My Spanish is not brilliant, but I got the gist of what he was saying. And he held up this album on CD, and it sort of got me juices running, if you like. And I just wanted to talk about a guy. And this is an album. I'm going to get the ball rolling. This is an album you don't see much on the VC, and sorry about the glare. This is Bonnie and Meat Loaf. Now, many people think this album was a duet album where they sang in duet. Nothing's further from the truth. What I think it was at the time Meat Loaf's career wasn't sort of going remarkably well. It was before Bat Out of 2 came out, when he had that huge hit that sort of launched. I think Richard Branson's company gave him another record contract, and it launched him into the stratosphere again. But Meat Loaf used to do a lot of small concerts in the UK. It was about just before and about the time he released Blind Before I Stopped, so you know what period I'm talking about. And there was literally thousands and thousands of compilation albums of Meat Loaf getting released. And I picked this one up. I'm not particularly a Bonnie Tyler fan. I don't like her at all. Her big hit was a song called Holding Out for a Hero. But I think Jim Steinman wrote for both of them. And this is how this record came about. But you got all the normal Meat Loaf tracks like Dead Ringer, Bat Out of Hell. And you've got Bonnie Tyler singing them as well. She sings Holding Out for a Hero, Faster Than the Speed of Light. I think they're all Jim Steinman compilations. And you know what record companies do when their artists are not doing much or not having big hits? They put out a load of compilations. But I just thought I'd show this album. That's the back side of it. And you can see what's on it. You know, there's a bit of interest. Now, the one Renee showed, was the CD version of this, and I bought this when it came out. This is actually Meat Loaf live, and a great thing, Scott Waters has been talking about Bob Kulick. He actually plays on here. You had Chuck Bergey, hope I pronounced this right, Steve Burslow, Frank Doyle, Amy Goff, she was the singer, Elaine Goff, Paul Jacobs, Bob Kulick and Alan Merrill. And you had the tour. This was at the Wembley Stadium gig, and you got some cracking stuff here on this. I listened to this record quite a lot, or I did, and it's just an awesome concert album. Meat Loaf recorded one of my favourite ballads all time. That was off the Bat Out of Hell album, and that was the song, oh, don't do this to me, Steve, I just forgot it, For Crying Out Loud. It would have been embarrassing if I forgot that one, because I've had it on my brain all morning. And that was to me, one of the best ballads ever recorded. I don't think they recorded it live, did it live so often, because it was a really, really long song. But this record was like a live Meat Loaf concert album. It's really, really good stuff. It's got all the big hits, and that's the back side of that. And you got all them tracks on it, and it's a good listen to. I had Blind Before I Stop. I think it must have got stolen, because I wanted to pull that one out and show you. That record, I sort of lost interest in Meat Loaf after that record. I didn't buy any of the later stuff, although I think I've got a couple I've got at charity shops. But after sort of before Blind Before a Stop, I was a fan of Meat Loaf. But after he did Blind Before a Stop, I lost all interest in him. Blind Before a Stop, it was not a great album, to be brutally honest. It was very, very poor. And that was the end of me. I mean, I still like Meat Loaf because I was a member of his fan club at the time, and used to get these paper flyers. And after Blind Before a Stop, I sort of lost interest in him. But that's my Meat Loaf anyway. I did have an original copy of Bat Out of Hell, and I think that's been stolen. I've just had a look through my old record collection. I can't find that, so that's obviously been nicked. I was hoping to pull a few out to show you, but no more. A group I really like, and I've only pulled this record out because you don't see this one on the VC very often. And it surprises me why people don't talk about them, because they're pretty rubbish. They may not like them. And it's this band, Supertramp. Now, I love this band, especially from Breakfast from America. This one was before then. The big hit off there was Give a Little Bit, which is an absolutely cracking song. Great cover. And Roger Hodgkinson, I think he's doing solo stuff now. Yeah, he hasn't recorded anything new. But it's great voice he's got. And I just thought I'd show this album, because not many people show Supertramp albums. I've got loads, and I just wanted to address the balance, if you like. I know Rene mentions a band called REO Speedwagon, and this is my REO Speedwagon, if you like, Supertramp. Absolutely love them. Great relaxing music, last thing at night, you can't beat it. Next record I want to show, you remember this tin? And I forgot the name of the album, and somebody corrected me in comments. There it is. That is Goodnight LA. I can remember the LA bit, but I couldn't remember the Goodnight bit. But that's that record. Guilty Forgiven has been talking a lot about this guy, and Scott Waters, Metal Mickey. This one's dedicated to you lads. This is Lizzie Borden. I bought this album. It came out on Metal Blade Records, 1986 or 5. I bought this record when it came out. I've always been a big Lizzie fan. You know, a lot of people give him a lot of stick back in the day because they compared him too much to Alice Cooper. If you're into bands like Wasp, Alice Cooper, you like Lizzie Borden. He was into what that genre they call shock rock. But this is my copy. I love this album. It's an absolute corker, The Murderous Metal Roadshow, and I haven't listened to it. I must admit I haven't listened to it for ages, but I shall definitely give it a spin. It's got a cool cover, yeah, I'm really proud to own it. There's the inside of the band, and yeah, produced by Lizzie Borden. If you ever pick up a copy of this, you just can't go wrong with it. You can see there he's got that sort of staining around the face, fake blood. You know, all this. That looked to me like Wasp when he used to sing. I found that a bit strong personally, because I think it was Sleeping in the Fire. And Blackie Lawless used to have a cup. Obviously, it was full of fake blood, and I found that a bit too much for me. Even back in the day. I remember Blackie doing, I think he did it at the Lyceum, I may be wrong, and it was just too much for my sensitive UK stomach, especially after a bacon sandwich, Greg. Now, this next record I want to hold up is Alice Cooper, and this is this record, absolutely fantastic. Now, it's called From the Inside Out, I think, if I remember rightly. Original concept Cooper, it's one of these pop-up things. May have got the title wrong, but I don't think I have. And it's about, you know, I think there was a story behind it. He actually got sectioned under the Mental Health Act, or he was going through dark days, let us say. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. But this is my out copy. It's in pristine condition. I've had this album. It was released about 77, maybe wrong. It was late 70s. I'm just trying to look. 1978. But I've had this album probably since it came out, or just after. Maybe I should say early 80s, 88, 81. You've got a nice picture of Alice on the front, and it got some awful write-ups, this one did. It's Alice Cooper and Bernie Taupin as well. If you don't know who Bernie Taupin is, think Elton John, because he's the one who writes all Elton John's big songs. But I love it, I do. I think it's a great album. You got typical Alice Cooper tracks on here, like Nurse Rosetta, For Veronica's Sake, Jackknife Johnny. I think that was a big song off it. But I liked it. Really good album. Now I think the next one's the next one's the last album, and there's a story behind this album. I was going to show it for one thing, and Scott Waters beat me to it, and they were doing an 1979, I think it was, sorry, 77. I'm pretty sure it's 77, and it's one of their yearly releases. And one of the first two albums they held up was this album. This one will be an interest. It's a great album. This is Pat Travers. But this album will be of interest because it was the first album. It was like Nico McBain was drumming. It was his pre-Iron Maiden days, and I've had this album probably since about the early 80s, and that's probably the only reason why I bought it. There he is there. I think that's him there. That's the Iron Maiden drummer. But it's a good album. I like Pat Travers. I know Greg the Egg does, but this is the album I bought. Also I like about this album, which is a common thing in them days, is somebody's got a biro to it. You get a lot of this, and this is part of the charm of this record. And they've made some beautiful pictures. Probably they're under the influence of something, and they decided to do a bit of record. If you look on there, it's AC/DC, and what they've done is they've written it millions of times or hundreds of times. I won't say hundreds of times, but it has a sense of charm. Let us say this record does. And that's why I've kept it. And it also has this stupid government warning that plastic bags can be dangerous. Like you put a record this over your head and kill yourself, which ain't going to happen. But yeah, it has a charm on its own, this album. But yeah, just checking. That is me offering anyway today. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope the guy who requested it has enjoyed it. I do intend to doing some more of these videos. And I'm just looking at the weather. It's really awful here. But take care, folks, and see you on the next video.